Ho che dire, ho che fare, questa vita è da osservare. Ho che dire, ho che fare, questa vita è da osservare. Come fare a calmare le diramazioni mentali che ci fanno vagare nel passato e nel futuro, senza un presente sicuro. Come fare a calmare le diramazioni mentali che ci fanno vagare nel passato e nel futuro, senza un presente sicuro. Ho che dire, ho che fare, questa vita da osservare. Ho che dire, ho che fare, questa vita da osservare. Un presente colmo della nostra attenzione che amplifichi all'infinito la nostra percezione. Un presente colmo della nostra attenzione che amplifichi all'infinito la nostra percezione. Ho che dire, ho che fare, questa vita da osservare. Ho che dire, ho che fare, questa vita da osservare. La percezione dell'intensità che la vita può donare se riusciamo a stare fermi, impedendo alla mente di vagare. La percezione dell'intensità che la vita può donare se riusciamo a stare fermi, impedendo alla mente di vagare. Ho che dire, ho che fare, questa vita da osservare. Ho che dire, ho che fare, questa vita da osservare. Solo quest'attimo eterno è sempre presente, il passato se n'è andato, il futuro è assente. Solo quest'attimo eterno è sempre presente, il passato se n'è andato, il futuro è assente. Ho che dire, ho che fare, questa vita da osservare. Ho che dire, ho che fare, questa vita da osservare. Sprofondiamo nell'ora, fermiamoci qui. Il resto non conta, si è dissolto da un bel dì. Sprofondiamo nell'ora, fermiamoci qui. Il resto non conta, si è dissolto da un bel dì. Ho che dire, ho che fare, questa vita da osservare. Ho che dire, ho che fare, questa vita da osservare. Dio è qui ora, l'eternità non è mai assente, se riusciamo a mantenere l'attenzione ancorata al presente. Dio è qui ora, l'eternità non è mai assente, se manteniamo l'attenzione ancorata al presente. o che dire, o che fare, questa vita da osservare. O che dire, o che fare, questa vita da osservare. So this is the song we want to take in consideration this evening for our satsang. He says, what to say, what to do. This life is to be observed. So life is the phenomenon that we are living. Life and consciousness are just the same thing. We are conscious, we are alive. So we need to study this life. We need to analyze it in order to understand it. We need to analyze ourselves, who we are, what we are, in order to understand what's our real nature, what we consist of, and what we are not. So Master Sirio sometimes used to analyze it this way, say, am I this hand of mine? Am I this arm of mine? No, I'm not, because this hand is my hand. I'm not the hand. Am I my legs? Am I my belly? Am I my shoulders? Am I this body? No, I'm not this body. I have this body. It's something in which I dwell for a certain period in time. It's a dress I wear, but I'm not this dress, I'm not this body. Just like if you wear a coat or a dress, we don't say, I am this dress. This is dress I'm wearing. In the same way, we are wearing this body, but we are not this body. We are life, we are consciousness, dwelling in this body. So what are we? I am not this body, maybe I am this mind. But this mind is also my mind, something I use, or by which many times I am used. But it's not me. These thoughts come to me. Very often I don't want them, but they come anyway. So I know these thoughts because I don't really like them. So I know the body, I know the mind, what I am. I am the air I breathe in. No, that's also something that I inhale from outside. So I am a conscious entity that for a given time is wearing this body, using this mind, and going through this life in order to learn and to progress, in order to understand better what this life is all about. And there are several levels of understanding. First, we understand with our mind. We acquire a certain knowledge through analyzing things and studying things. So we acquire a theoretical knowledge of some kind. We may study a philosophy, and we acquire the kind of knowledge. But then, to have the experience of the something which you have been studying is totally different. We may understand, by the way, we are not this body, we are not this mind. We are not the senses through which we operate in this world. We have eyes to see, ears to hear, nose to smell, mouth to taste, skin to touch. And this is also something we have that belongs to us, through which we experience the world. But this also is not what we are. It is a means by which we acquire experience. And the more experience we gather in this life, the more knowledgeable we become. So having understood that we are not this body, we are not these senses, we are not this mind, and that we are conscious entities, then we should experience ourselves as consciousness, separated from this body. That's when we experience ourselves to be conscious. When we are able to withdraw from this physical body, then we see that I am really not this body, because I can detach myself from this body, get out of this body, and still I am alive. That's the wonderful thing of withdrawing from this physical body, because this body becomes like a dead, like a corpse, more or less. But you are not dead. You don't die. You keep living. And then you really understand that I am not this body. Wow. I was mistaken to identify myself with this body. I am really a conscious entity that keeps living even when this body is like that. It's the same thing which happens with people who experience this near-to-death experience. They die for a certain period. Some people die just for 10 minutes, 5 minutes, or half an hour, or an hour, or sometimes even for a longer period, for a day, 2 days, a week. There are cases of this kind. And the big surprise is that they see their body down there dead, and they are not dead. They keep operating fully, keep being fully conscious. And then most of them have this transcendence, going into the light. Some go through a tunnel, some don't go through a tunnel. But they find themselves in another dimension, which is not physical, but still they feel like having a body, which is not the physical body, it's the astral body. But it works completely as this body works. We see, we feel everything as we do with this body. The same thing happens when we go deep into meditation, when we go into samadhi. That's samadhi, leaving the body and going into the light. Then, there we really see, we experience. It's not something that we have read in the books, we heard about. It's something that we experience ourselves. And it's a great sense of freedom. In the beginning it might be scary, with some people it can be scary. Because we are so identified with this body that feeling deprived of this body, of this materiality, solidity, which is this material world, it can be scary. And most of the people, in the beginning, when they have an experience of this kind, they become scared. But then one can get used to it, and then you're not scared anymore, and you fully enjoy it. Because it's really freedom. It's like a bird getting out of the cage and flying free into the air. And of course, people have different kinds of experiences. You may find yourself in the universe. You may find yourself anywhere in time. Because there you discover there is no time. And what was the past, present and future, they all coexist at the same time. And you can be anywhere in time. And you think of something and you find yourself there. And also space, it's an illusion. You think of a galaxy and you find yourself in that galaxy. Anything is possible. So that's experiencing by ourselves that we are not this body. We live in this body for a certain period in order to acquire experience through this body. But we are eternal beings. Consciousness is eternal. It never had a beginning and never will have an end. It's eternal. The only thing is understanding ourselves as a individual consciousness, individual being, and becoming an universal being. The illusion is being a separated being, this ego, this sense of separated I. That's the illusion. When we get there, we feel to be God. It's not the matter of what is God, who is God. We are all God. And it's not a sin to think in this terms, because it's really like this. When we have a very profound experience, even in this body, and there are two ways of experiencing the divine. Getting out of this body and going into the light, high above, or the divine descends into you, and you feel to be God. That's how it happens to me, very often. Then I see as God, and I experience everything as God. And this is not just, it's for everybody. It's a potential which is inside of all of us. We are divine in nature. When masters say we are divine in nature, it means that our true nature is divinity. For some people to think in these terms, for some religions, to think in these terms, it's a blasphemy, it's a sin. Man cannot be God. Now what is God? Like a dictator over there, ruling the whole universe, and we are just his slaves? That's not like this. He is us and we are him. So that's studying life and studying ourselves. So this song says, this life is to be studied. This human being is to be studied and understood deeply what we really are. So, what impedes to us to really experience ourselves as these divine beings is this mind, really. The mind is the big wall. How to calm the mind. The mind ramifications that take us always in the past and in the future and do not allow us to enjoy the living present. That's where the mind goes all the time, in memories and in fantasies about the future, or fears about the future. What's going to happen? If you are afraid about the future, then we make a scary future for ourselves. So we should be trusting life, have faith and hope and optimism. That's how we make our life a success. And we should acquire self-control over our thoughts. So how do we acquire this self-control over our thoughts? By directing our mind, by not allowing it to go wherever it wants. So Master says, you repeat the Simran instead of thinking of crazy, foolish things, fantasies and memories. Just do the Simran. That will make you feel good. And also you somehow help in stopping this wheel of life, this wheel of karma. When I was initiated, I had this fixed idea that I want to stop the wheel of karma. So what do I do? I sit all day long in meditation and I don't think of anything. And that's what I did. So meditation is a very good way of stopping this wheel of karma or reducing it. Stopping these mind ramifications, because thoughts are potent and create reality, realities. So we should be very careful about what we think. This is what the physics also say. Quantum physics say the same. What we think is going to shape the atoms of our reality, and it becomes a fact. Because thoughts are very potent. So we have to be capable of controlling these thoughts. We have to manage it. We have to learn how to direct these thoughts. That means trying to reduce their activity. Trying to be always well focused in what we are doing, living the living present. Do not think about the past, do not fantasize about the future. Just be present in what you're doing. That's why Master Kripa used to say, do one thing wholly and solely. Be fully there in what you're doing. Then any work becomes a pleasure, becomes art. Any work becomes beautiful and conveys joy. I do my gardening, for instance. I enjoy it so much because I am so fully there. And I commune with these plants. They like me and I like them. When I go into the garden, I feel these plants are joyful. They become happy, you know. They like to see me because I'm good to them. I do take care of them. It's like with animals, no? They're very happy when you give them food. They like you, they love you. If you take care of them, nourish them, plants are the same. We don't see it because they don't laugh really, you know. They don't manifest emotions. To our eyes at least, we can see it. But they do manifest emotions. And I do so many works here, and I always enjoy doing them. And I'm very quick in doing them because I'm very concentrated in what I do. And if I'm able to take care of this place, mostly by myself, with a little help of somebody else, that's because I'm really concentrated in the works I do. It is said that Master Kirpal was working in an office. His job was preparing the wages and the pensions for the army people. He was working in the ambit of the administration, government administration. And he had like 2,000 people working in his office, big office. And he was leading all these 2,000 people in this big work that they were doing in preparing these salaries and pensions. And they always said that in his section everything was running very smoothly and efficiently. And used to say, this is just because I was very concentrated. And I was really focused on the work I was doing and really dealing it very well, or well organized. So when eventually he retired and he went in pension, we needed 3 people to substitute him, to do whatever he was doing by himself. So that's what concentration and presence in what we are doing does. It makes us very effective and capable people. So a spiritual person doesn't have to be a fantasy person. It has to be a very concrete, real, capable person. Because as Master Kirpal used to say, to realize God is very easy. Means to have an experience of God is possible for most of the people. But to become a real man, that's very difficult. So I used to talk very much about having a direct personal experience of the light, so you become convinced that this light is there, exists. And in the beginning of his work, he was very much focused on this, giving an experience to people, so that they, because you say this is a scientific age, and people need to see by themselves in order to be convinced. Otherwise, you don't convince anybody. So he focused very much himself on giving an experience to people through initiation or through coming in touch with him. But then he saw that people were not really changing. Even by having this experience, it was not enough. They were not really changing. So he invented this diary form, this self-analysis. Analyze yourself, watch your life. So write a diary, keep a diary of what you think, what you do, what you say. Because then you realize that very easy to have an experience of God, but very difficult to become a real human being. A man who is capable of giving out, serving and helping and being a good person. So how to calm these ramifications of the mind that make us wander in the past and the future without a safe present? A present full of our attention. That may amplify endlessly our perception. Because that's how it happens, this expansion of consciousness. This deepening of our perception by going very deep into meditation, by being fully focused and concentrated. Then our perception of reality becomes very wide, very big. We talk about cosmic consciousness or universal consciousness. That's what it is, deepening our perception of reality. And then life becomes really intense, really beautiful, and really profound. Then we have revelations, intuitions about facts of existence, laws of life, which in the ordinary state of mind you don't have, we don't have. So that's the way we deepen our understanding and our experience of reality, by expanding our consciousness. The perception of intensity that life can convey to us, if you're able to be still, by impeding the mind to wander. I know it's very difficult. I know it's not easy. Easy to talk, difficult to do. But not impossible. And we have to try again and again and be optimistic that we will succeed. And any space we cover in this direction, any piece of the way that we cover in this direction, it's a work done and that stays with us. Anything we acquire spiritually, we don't lose it. Maybe sometimes it seems we are losing it because we have other things to experience, so it seems we are going backwards, but it's not true. We have to gather some parts of ourselves which are left behind. So that's why we lose maybe this perception, this inner perception, and we get back into the complexity of our personality, some parts of it. We have to pick up and carry with us. We are very complicated beings. Maybe a part of us progresses and goes forward, but there are parts of us that stay back. So then life creates a situation by which we have to go back, pick up that part, which is kind of neglected, and take it forwards. Until we become integrated, fully integrated beings. It's a very complex work. Those people who do not understand the complexity of a spiritual work, of a spiritual evolution and growth, is because they don't even know what it is, they don't know anything about. And the thing is, anything we experience, anything we go through, we must never be pessimist, disheartened, thinking that, I'm going backwards, I am not really progressing, I am always at the same, going back always at the same place. It's not true. That's not like this. As I say, we are very complex beings, and in order to fully evolve with all of our person, with all of our being, it takes a big work, it takes so much patience and so much perseverance. Anyway, whatever we reach in this lifetime, in this work, it will stay with us. And it will also make a much better experience on the beyond when we leave this body. Because there are several levels of consciousness. And the more we evolve in this life, the higher we go when we leave this body. And going higher, what does it mean? It means experiencing a greater blessing, a greater bliss, a greater ecstasy and fusion with the divine. Until we become totally united with this divine being and we become fully Him. The answer says only this eternal moment is always present. Past is gone and future is absent. It seems that there is a before and an after, but in reality there is only this moment. What was yesterday? It was this moment, this present, which is now. It was different, but that's what was. And tomorrow will be the same moment, living moment. We keep living this living moment that shifts according to the picture that is projected on the screen of life. So the only thing which is real is this living moment, which is always there. So let's sink into the now. Let's stop here. The rest doesn't count, doesn't have any meaning, no existence. God is here now. Eternity is never absent if we can keep our attention anchored in the present. Present and eternity are the same thing. In the living present, there is eternity. And what's eternity? It's absence of time. When there is no before and there is no after, then there is eternity. So where do we want to go? What we want to realize? This we want to realize. Getting out of time and space and absorb completely in the divine and be one with Him. one with him and with everything. So those who are doing spiritual work, those who are on the path, they're very lucky, because that's what they are trying to realize. That's what we are trying to realize. To become fully conscious beings, aware of the divinity which is in us, that we are, that we were, and will always be. So, I hope this satsang was of inspiration, bringing clarity and understanding. Hope you enjoyed it. Let's thank my Sadgurus for inspiring it.